verse 16. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were all of them written. The days that were ordained for me, they were all written in a book before I came, when there was none of them. Before you arrived on this earth, every one of your days was written in a book. You're not accidental. That's what the book says. All of your days. Why are we striving? Why are we stressed out? Why do we need Valium? Why do we need Prozac? Why is our blood pressure 200 and something over something? Every day of our life was written in a book before we were ever even born. And if we learn, like I tweeted this week on my Twitter and sent out on my Facebook, if we learn to sit back and be still and know that he's God and chill because God's got our life in the palm of his hands, God got us in control and under control, if we would let him have it. The way I look at life many times is the way I look at things with my grandkids. They trip me out, but, kids love to do stuff all the time. They just want to be involved in something. So I'm coming back from the grocery store, from church, and my computer bag is heavy. It probably weighs about 40-something pounds because I packed stuff in it. My grandson always want to help. I got it, Papa, I got it. Nathan, you can't carry it. I got it, Papa, I got it. All right, go ahead. And he's struggling, trying to pull it out the car, about to break my computer, falling on the ground and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can help you. It's got a handle. You can just pull it. If you just let me pick it up, take it out of the car, put it on the ground, then you can pull it. Will you let me? I got it, Papa. I got it, Papa. Then finally, I just reach over, pick it up with one hand. In fact, 2 fingers. I've been working out lately. Pick it up with 2 fingers. Put it down on the floor. Let the handle up. He starts pulling it. Then you know what I say? I said, Nathan, you're so strong. He says, I know, Papa, I'm strong, ain't I? You are so strong. Look at you. That's exactly the way it works with us and God. We struggle to get things done. We strive to get things done. We trying our best to do things. God said, I can help you. I really can help you with this if you just let me. And finally we get to the point we're tired and frustrated and ready to give up. And we just say, Lord, will you help me? He says, finally, I've been waiting. Then he helps us. And then he looks at you and say, you look good in that, girl. You are strong in me. You are righteous in me. That's exactly what happens with God. But we have to begin to understand that God has every one of our days written in a book. We are preordained. God said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in the belly, I knew thee and ordained you to be a prophet to the nation. Not only did I know you, I knew what I wanted you to do. In the New Testament, Romans chapter 8, verse 29 and 30, the Bible talks about the fact that we are predestined. The word predestined is a Greek word. Prefix, pro. Suffix, orizo, pro-orizo. Orizo is where we get the word horizon from. You know what horizon is. That's where you're heading. That's the distance where you're going. Before you're born, God gives you a horizon. You have a horizon before you're ever born. We're pre-orizo, pro-orizo. So understand that you're not an accident. Listen to me. You're not an accident. That alone will deliver you from low self-esteem. That alone ought to kick depression out of your life. You are not an accident. I don't care who your mama and your daddy were. I don't care if you were raped in your mama was raped in a dark back alley somewhere. And if when you were growing up, she says, I wish I never had you. She was lying. God wishes she had you. You are not accident. Some people say, how come I couldn't be born here? Or how come I couldn't be born there? Or how come I couldn't be born taller? How come I couldn't be born light-skinned? How come I couldn't be born whatever the case might be? No. God intentionally chose the DNA in your mother and the DNA in your father and brought them together. They couldn't even help themselves. Brought them together because God needed. And by the way, you're such a miracle. You're one in some millions. I don't have time to teach all of biology, but you understand that there's a race. And only one gets the prize. You with me? So there are millions of little folks running, and they've been working out for months. And, millions of them running, but only one can win. And I believe that there are angels in heaven looking through millions. Get out of the way. That's the one right there. You must win. Put you at the front. Or give them some steroids or whatever the case might be so they make it in before everybody else. Listen to me. I'm talking. You are not accidental. You are intentional. God specifically put Paul and Mildred together in New York City. My mama was raised up in Tuskegee, Alabama. When she got about 18 or 19, she said, I am out of here. Went to New York, didn't know anybody. Met a guy named Paul Searcy, met my dad. They met in an office building somewhere in New York. They had to meet, had no choice, because I had to be born. Had to meet Oluwakemi Alake Detunji. She had to meet her. She was raised, call her Kimmy for short. She was raised in Ghana, Africa. And God calls her when she was living in Nigeria at the time to be dissatisfied with things. Say, I got to get out of here. I tell you the story all the time. Came to Chicago, Illinois. The person who was supposed to pick her up in Chicago could not find her. They were at a building, and they were both at the same building. She was waiting in the front, couldn't find her, said, maybe I'll walk around the back. She went around the back, and when she went around the back, the lady came around the front. And they did that for 3 hours in the cold. Finally, my wife said, it's too cold. She went back to the airport, got on a plane, and came to Atlanta, Georgia. Why? Because she had to meet a brother. I was in Montgomery, Alabama, and God knew I was on the way to Atlanta, so she had no choice. Because God chose the DNA for Paul and Christopher. God chose that he wanted Biola and Fumi to be raised by a man who would love them and care for them. God chose it, had no choice. Look at your neighbor and say, I had no choice. Tell somebody. You had to be born to your mama and your daddy. You had to be born on the side of the tracks you were born on. Quit trying to curse your past and say, God, I thank you that I was born. I may not know my daddy, but I thank you that he was a donor. I thank you that he gave my mama what she needed so I can be alive.